Greetings, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Landscape Management TV. I'm Editor-in-Chief Scott Hollister, and today we are talking all things Elevate 2025 with the CEO of the National Association of Landscape Professionals, Mr. Britt Wood. Britt, great to see you, and thanks for taking some time to join us today.
Scott, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Uh, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Elevate 2025, and as most of you are viewing this just a few short weeks away, I'd be remiss if I didn't give you the actual details. It's November 2nd through the 5th in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, the Phoenix Convention Center. You can learn much more by heading over to landscapeprofessionals.org/elevate if you want more information or to get yourself registered to attend. But this is the fourth year of Elevate since it split from GIE Expo and what is now Equip Expo. So I kind of wanted to start off, Britt, just get the state of Elevate from you. Has it now entering the fourth edition of this? Has it accomplished what you all hoped it would by taking the event to different venues? And are you satisfied with kind of where you are with the event at this point?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, Elevate has really exceeded some of our expectations, Scott. It has been really well regarded, and we've seen the community really kind of enjoy the opportunity to come. I will say that it's done a couple of really specific things that we hoped it would do, which is to encourage landscapers from all over the country to attend our event, right? When we were in Louisville for all those years, it made it difficult for our West Coast folks to want to come every year. Sure. And really, at the end of the day, we were hoping to make that more accessible. So a perfect example, I think the last time we did something with GIE, we had maybe 3 or 4 people from the state of Arizona come to that event. Right. We've already got 50 plus signed up and more signing up every day. And so we're reaching an audience we haven't reached as much when we were all centered in one location. And I think it's really just become a nice vehicle for members too, right? We've had more and more members join the organization because they're getting exposed to everything NALP does through Elevate. So we're really pleased with it, and we're looking forward to getting it going in Phoenix this year.
You guys have put together an event that's got a nice blend of educational opportunities, networking events, obviously the trade show and the exhibition space as well. As you look at all those, are there areas where you're like exceedingly happy with, man, that is, what we envisioned with our networking events. It's just turned out beyond anything we could have dreamed about. And equally, are there areas man, we are still working on that. We're pleased with the progress we're making, but we still have room to grow.
Yeah, so I would say a lot of the things that we've instilled have really accomplished what we hoped them to do. We deliberately made our exhibit hall smaller, so it was more accessible, and it was easier to navigate. We've gotten a great group of volunteers that help us plan the education, right? Because and getting that group going and getting them in a flow and making sure that we're having the ability to deliver topics that are going to be really critical to landscapers and be important to them now, that they're not passe or something we talked about 10 years ago kind of thing. So I think it's an evolution, Scott, right? Like we continue to evolve this event. We continue to see opportunity to get better. I will say, as best we always try to, our Elevate Bash gets harder and harder to top every year. So
right, that's right.
We continue to work on that. But there's always opportunities to improve. But with that said, I think we've got a pretty good formula. But it's something that we will allow this event to continue to evolve. And so it's meeting the needs of our members and the landscaping community.
Yeah, I kind of tell you, you can't get a NASCAR Hall of Fame every place you go, like last year in Charlotte, which was a spectacular location for that event. But we will talk about your location for this year's bash here in just a little bit. Well, let's focus. Go ahead and turn our attention to 2025 and this year's event in Phoenix. Phoenix is kind of a rising city in terms of attracting conventions and trade shows, conferences of not only your size but other size. You and I spoke about that last week when we were together for the field trip event in Annapolis. What was it about Phoenix, the facilities, things like that, that really stood out to you guys as you were looking to kind of plot where you were taking Elevate in its first couple of years?
Yeah, so first and foremost, it's West. We really wanted to make sure we were getting West. And when we picked in early November, a time of year, Phoenix made such a nice natural fit, right? We're getting West. And oh, by the way, we're going to go to a place that's lovely in November.
Sure.
And I think it's an exciting place. It also has a really robust landscaping community. And the different companies that are down there are really continuing to excel and grow. And so there were just a lot of reasons why Phoenix fit the bill. The facilities are fantastic.
Right.
And I have to admit, this will probably be, if you know, for those of us who attend a lot of different conventions, this is one of the shortest trips from the airport you're ever going to experience. It's
Right. That's right.
literally about 7 minutes from the airport to get to the downtown of the convention center. So it's incredibly accessible. It's not hard to get to Phoenix from a lot of major cities, a lot of direct flights. We also always look at that. We want to make sure that if people are going to travel to us, that we're making their travel as easy as possible. And a big hub like Phoenix fits the bill. So, I mean, you can see it checked a lot of boxes. And
Yeah.
we've had a great relationship with our friends in Phoenix and the Convention and Visitor Bureau there, and they've been excellent. And I think we've got we're going to take full advantage of the fact of we are downtown, we have some accessibility to things, but we're also going to take full advantage of the fact that we're in the Southwest. And there's some, as we talk about what the bash will be, it'll give you a sense of that you're really going to get a feel for being in the Southwest. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
and they've really, yeah, the city's done a great job of working on their downtown area and really building up in and around the convention center. And I know that's something that probably appealed to you guys, as there was a continued investment, whether it was in additional hotels, entertainment, dining, all the stuff like that. That it's really a growing area right in and around the convention center there in Phoenix.
It really is. And, I jokingly said, having done other events in Phoenix in my career, much earlier on in my career, that downtown Phoenix almost kind of rolled up the sidewalks at 5 o'clock and there wasn't
Right.
much going on. And boy, have they done a spectacular, the dining opportunities. There's just so much to do, so much to see. So I think people are really going to enjoy it.
Well, inside the walls of the convention center, a lot going on. I want to start by asking you kind of about the two big events that will open and close Elevate 2025, the opening and closing sessions. You've got two interesting keynote speakers coming in. Kevin Brown, who will talk about branding culture. He's kind of he's an author, wrote the book The Hero Effect, and also Ben Nempton, who is a New York Times best-selling author and kind of the creator of something called the Buried Life Movement, which I'm looking forward to learning more about while in Phoenix. What should attendees know about these two events and these two keynote speakers you're bringing in?
Well, I think what we like to do with Elevate is ensure that we're giving people access to speakers that they might not otherwise be able to see. And so we've really, going back to your earlier question of what we've continually tried to improve is that we want to make sure that our keynotes are going to deliver a great message. They're going to be entertaining. And that people are going to walk away with something that may transform how they behave in their lives. And so, and those are pretty lofty expectations.
Right.
I will tell you that we're really excited about both of these speakers this year. Certainly I think you're going to hear great stories. Both are very, very funny men. They've got a great wit about them. But what sets them apart, honestly, is they both have great stories to tell, and they're great storytellers. And so I think for folks who have the opportunity to see either of the two keynotes, be prepared for a very unique experience, and one that I think honestly may have you rethinking about how you behave and what you do in your everyday life. And again, our keynotes also, Scott, they're not designed to be talking about day-to-day industry stuff. You get enough of that. Elevate's is loaded with sessions that are going to help you improve your business and do that. These are people we try to bring in to help you push yourself, to push your mind, to push your thinking, and hopefully create some changes very positive in your life. So again, lofty goals, I get it,
Yeah.
but These two gentlemen, I'm really really excited about, and I think my team has done a wonderful job of not only securing them, but getting them all set to deliver a customized message to our audience as well. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I know I'm looking forward to both of them. I enjoyed both speakers last year in Charlotte. So both Kevin and Ben will be an awesome way to kind of bookend our time in Phoenix. You mentioned sort of some of the more practical education, and there is a full slate of educational opportunities from typical classroom sessions with some of the leading minds in the business to some smaller, more informal settings within the trade show floor. Landscape pros that I talk to have cited the quality of the education that they receive at Elevate as one of the main reasons that they've enjoyed the event and want to go back. So how would you describe your approach to these sessions, to how you plan out the education that you'll have available every year at Elevate?
Yeah, no, first off, we don't get to take any of the credit for the sessions. It's the committee that really helps design them. I mean, the most important thing when we created Elevate was it was going to be an event for landscape professionals designed by landscape professionals. So the other thing you'll see is typically we like to have the contractors speak as opposed to having consultants or other things like that. It's not to say we don't have a few consultants that do a wonderful job. They absolutely do. But our goal is always to make sure that we've got contractors talking to contractors. Um, so that's a key element for the sessions. And then we believe very much in creating different types of learning opportunities, right? Whether that be the Breakfast with Champions, that is something we've had for a very, very long time. We
Right.
brought it with us when we left GIE, but it's also taking advantage of the hall and doing some more of those more intimate discussions there. But again, we want Elevate to be something where contractors can come, meet other contractors, and really come away with a bunch of ideas to run their business. And the key to that is having a committee that's thoughtful and that really puts in the time and effort. And these it's a lot of effort for these folks.
Right.
They fly into DC. We do a couple days with them, and then they're meeting on a fairly regular basis as we build up, because sometimes we have to change sessions. Sometimes
Sure.
we have some openings. Sometimes there's some topics that come up that are really essential, and so it's going to be it's always an evolving process, but we're excited about it. And like I said, I'd love to take more credit for the education, but I have to give it where it really richly belongs, which is with the committee and of course my team that works with the committee. They all
Right.
do a
Yeah.
wonderful job.
Yeah, I've had some experience in my past professional life with planning and getting a front row seat to how those sessions come together, and it is not easy work. And the full time people, as hard as they work and as good a job as they do, can't do it alone, and so they really
Yeah.
rely on those volunteers. And I would throw in a little plug. LM had a table last year at Breakfast for Champions. I hosted both mornings, planning on doing that again, and really enjoyed the opportunity to do that and kind of sit down and meet some folks from around the industry. So keep your eyes peeled, LM readers, because we'll probably be doing that again this year. So let's talk a little bit about the trade show. As you mentioned, it's a little more intimate affair than maybe what folks would find when they attend the Equip Expo, which makes sense considering Equip is one of the largest, just in terms of straight exhibition spaces, one of the largest in the country of any kind. As you approached not just planning for this year, but every year, is that an intentional approach? Hey, we need to keep this more intimate. We want to have different kinds of conversations than landscape pros might have in other settings, whether that be Equip, whether that be a regional or a local event, or just talking to the peers. How intentional was that as you looked at how you wanted to kind of formulate the trade show space at Elevate?
It was very intentional. And candidly, when we were going through the decision process of separating from GIE, one of the frequent things that we were hearing from a lot of our members were that it was very difficult to talk to suppliers because there were so many people and everything was so big and massive, and the opportunity just to have good conversations wasn't there. Trust me, I've got exhibitors that would like to have much larger booth spaces.
Sure.
But the biggest we get is 20 by 40 because we want to make it so that our attendees can walk the entire hall, comfortably and not feel like they're running from place to place. And that candidly, they can have good conversations. I mean, the one thing about Equip being the biggest, right, is that with the biggest comes a lot of people. And sometimes there are people that are more valuable to talk to than others. And so what we've tried to do is really kind of cultivate a space that's intimate, that allows for suppliers and contractors to have really good conversations. And we will, honestly tell you that our attendee base is by far the most influential landscaping companies in the entire country that attend our event. And so as a result, the suppliers need to, and what we ask the suppliers to do is, hey, don't bring everything, bring your new stuff, bring your stuff you're really proud of. Let's always keep it so that when people come to Elevate, they know they're seeing the latest and greatest. And oh, by the way, let's make sure we got the right people there so that people are having the right conversations at the high levels
Sure.
that necessitate that. So it's been very deliberate, and I will tell you, it's something that my board plays an active role in terms of ensuring we try to grow the hall a little bit every year, but at a certain point, we keep doing that, we're gonna get too big. So we keep a very close eye on it. And we have transitions of exhibitors as well. We have some of the same companies that come back, but we're out looking for new companies. We're out
Sure.
looking, especially for some, as it relates to charging stations or other things, as we gas to
Yeah.
electric, etc. We need to find this next generation. A big thing for us this year was fleet management and getting out and finding more companies to help with fleet management. So it's those types of things that we like to think make the hall at Elevate something that is actually a real value and people can get excited about, because you have that ability to connect and see some of the latest and greatest.
Yeah, a pretty interesting blend of whether it's an equipment manufacturer next to a software company, next to a company that focuses on specialty products or seed or whatever the case might be. It was my first experience last year in Charlotte was very interesting, and you could really see that intention in how that floor laid out. So we've
Right.
talked trade show, we've talked education. Networking is always a massive part of events like this, and what makes and without putting a finer point on it, but to have a little bit of fun while you're there trying to build your career, build your company, build yourself. And you got some other big fun events. You've got the welcome reception at the Deuce. You've got Elevate Bash at Corona Ranch, which I think is where you're going to get a little bit of that Southwest flavor. But tell us a little bit about what folks can expect at those two big events.
Yeah, and so you're absolutely right, Scott. We want people to enjoy themselves, and it's also how we build in our even our pricing, right? We have what we like to call the all-inclusive price. We're gonna feed you and water you. You're gonna have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and cocktails, and so that's important to us. And two ways we accomplish that is with our opening and closing events. Um, the Deuce was actually featured on Dinings, Drive-ins, and Dives. I don't know whether
Oh,
you've seen that episode. It's a fantastic place. Normally, we traditionally try to do our openings, at the hotel, convention center, something like that. So we're taking a little bit of a chance this year, but it's a short walk in downtown Phoenix. You can take a cab if you want to, and they have the. I think Phoenix has the driverless cabs now
yes, the Waymos.
all over,
Yeah,
the Waymos all over the place. So if you want to experiment with that, you can. But it's a short walk, and it's again what we like to do with our opening and our closing is we want to ensure we're creating an environment where you can see old friends, but you can also meet new people, and there's a lot of different things for you to do. So there is a ton going on on our opening. But then as you think about what we're going to do in a Mexican rodeo
yeah,
for our closing, again, it's having a lot of, there'll be live bands there. Knowing this group, I'm sure somebody will figure out how to take the microphone away and we'll turn it into a karaoke session at a certain point. But there'll be a full-on rodeo there, but there's going to be tons of stuff to do. What we like to do, Scott, is we like to make sure that we're just not a one-trick pony with our evening events, because different people like to have fun in different ways.
sure.
Just like we did with Gillies, where there was so much going on, we feel like this is an opportunity. And so we're excited about both events. I think that people will have a lot of fun at them. I'm certainly looking forward to them. Although I have to admit, I declined to participate in they wanted to do a little thing with me on riding a horse, and I was like, no, I'm good.
No
I
mechanical bull
don't.
competition.
No, that's the. I prefer things with steering wheel, Scott. I got to be honest with you. So, but
Well,
it
well,
will
maybe
certainly
they
be.
can convince you
Yeah,
otherwise on site.
yeah,
We'll have
yeah.
to. We'll be there with our cameras ready to go. So.
There you go. There
Well,
you go.
Britt, I appreciate you taking time. I wanted to finish up with one more question, and that's kind of looking forward to the future and what's next for Elevate. You'll be in Tampa, Florida next year, Anaheim the year after that. I spent a little time in Anaheim along with a lot of other landscape pros probably watching this for Ignite just a few weeks ago. I had not been there for an event of that size for many, many years, and they've really done a nice job. So you've got another West Coast venue in Anaheim. But beyond just the host cities, what sort of goals are you looking at as you look 3, 5, 7 years down the road for Elevate?
Well, I think we want to continue to attract more contractors. We want to ensure that it's a valuable event for more contractors. Um, Reasonably speaking, we want to continue to bring in new technology and develop things. And certainly I think there's different opportunities. Ultimately, we want Elevate to be something that is literally a can't miss event. You want to be there every year because every year you're going to come away with something new, with different. And that takes time, right? I think we're building on that reputation, but we want to make it so that it's not only is it a great place to learn, to take back items, to really change how you run your business, but we want it to be something that is looked at as like, this is fun. This is a
Yeah.
reward. This is, and so that's why we work really hard in terms of making sure that the value is there in the education, but also that people can have some fun and meet new people. And I think that's such an important thing. So we'll continue to move Elevate all over the country. We'll likely be headed back east in 28, and then 29. I think we may end up being in Texas. We haven't officially locked everything down yet, but we like to kind of continue to move it around. But if we go to Texas, we won't be in Dallas again. We'll likely be in Austin, so a little bit different feel there. But the idea again is let's make this accessible for people, no matter where they are, and let's make it a can't miss event.
Well, I'm sure there will be many in attendance who will feel that you guys have accomplished that. I was impressed last year. It was my first time in Charlotte, and really had a great event, just personally and professionally there. Looking forward to seeing you again. We're honored to be one of the official media partners with NALP for this event, so we will be there for the whole shooting match, and look forward to our time in Phoenix. Again, it's Elevate 2025. It's November 2nd through the 5th. Phoenix Convention Center in lovely downtown Phoenix. For more information, head over to landscapeprofessionals.org/elevate. Britt Wood, the CEO of NALP. Britt, thank you so much for taking the time and chatting with us. Really appreciate it.
Scott, thank you. And thank you for all that LM does for the industry. You guys really are a great resource, and we appreciate the partnership. So thank you again for the
You
time.
are you are you are certainly welcome, and thanks to all the viewers for tuning in today on Landscape Management TV.